Hi, everybody. Welcome. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depending on what part of the world you are tuning in from. Thank you all so much for joining today's virtual event hosted by Power to Fly and Riot Games. Now, I trust that you're having an amazing day, and great news, it's about to get a whole lot more fun. Now, my name is Meg. I am a virtual events host here at Power to Fly. We are a global woman-run career platform committed to connecting underrepresented talent to opportunities in highly visible sectors and with the world's most caring and inclusive companies. Now, our partner, Riot Games, stands out as a star player in that department. Riot Games was founded in 2006 to change the way video games are developed, published, and supported for its players. In 2009, Riot released its debut title, League of Legends, to worldwide legendary applause. Now, League has gone on to be one of the most played PC games ever and a major driver of esports explosive growth. Players are at the heart of Riot's community, and it is all for them that Riot continues to evolve the League experience in-game and beyond. So Riot, founded by Brandon Beck and Mark Merrill, is headquartered in Los Angeles, California. 2,500 plus Rioters work in 20 plus offices worldwide. Riot has scored top spots on numerous lists, including Fortune's 100 best companies to work for, 25 best companies to work in technology, 100 best workplaces for millennials, and 50 best workplaces for flexibility. But who exactly are the Rioters? Well, they are humble go-getters and genius pros who take play seriously. And we get to meet a few of them today. Now, I know that our Rioters are equally excited to get to know us too. So they're going to share their journeys, tell us how they bring their A game to work every day, and offer an inside glimpse into what makes them so spectacular. So let's get ready to riot. Next slide, please. All right, here they are. So today's speakers have fascinating backgrounds and experiences to share with you. Some have been Rioters for several years, while others are relative newbies. So it'll be great to get their different perspectives on so much about what makes the company amazing. Now, before we really get rolling, please allow me to share a few helpful hints. Next slide, please. So bear with me for a few moments, as I know that most of you are going to be familiar with these points, but we'll go over them real quick just in case. Now, if you are disconnected from the online presentation or if you have a bad connection, don't worry, don't panic, it's not a big deal. You can always rejoin us using the link that you used originally to join. There won't be a waiting room, so you'll get right back in. Or if you lose internet capabilities, you can also always dial in from a landline or from your mobile phone. Now, if you think that that might be an issue that you might need to dial in, I suggest you go to your audio panel. That's where you'll find your dial-in number and take note of that so that way you can jump back in and rejoin us if you get disconnected. Now, we do kindly ask that you all please remain on mute. This goes even for our Rioters, unless y'all are actively speaking, try to remain on mute. It helps make sure that call clarity is good for everyone as well as for the recording of this. But the chat is fair game. Ha ha ha. Sorry guys, get used to those. We're really excited about them today. So the chat is fair game. Please feel free to keep it active and engaging. If you need help, Ria from the Power to Fly team is online to help with any kind of tech issues you might have. We're also going to encourage you to visit Power to Fly, where you can check out Riot Games' Power to Fly page, as well as our daily virtual events. These include career coaching, upskilling sessions, community events, and a lot more. And last but not least, we love feedback. So we're going to share a 2-minute survey with y'all towards the end of today's event. We'll also send it over to you after the event concludes. We really, really hope to hear from you. We very much value your thoughts and opinions. We want to make sure that the events that we're delivering to our community are valuable. So if you think we're doing something great, let us know, but also tell us what you think we could be doing better at. Next slide, please. So this is going to give you a look at our schedule for today. Now we're going to start by meeting our esteemed panel. Then Brian Riley, who's Global Head of Talent Acquisition, will deliver a welcome address for all of us. And after that, we'll move into a panel discussion with our Rioters, where we'll really explore life at Riot Games and what it means to be a part of their team. Now, after that, I'll return with a few remarks, including how you can apply to exciting open roles at Riot Games. Then we're going to move into the most thrilling part of today's event, which is the breakout sessions. Now, trust me, you do not want to miss these. Breakouts offer you the opportunity to come off of mute, ask your questions face to face, and genuinely connect with the Riot Games team in a smaller environment. So think of them as a networking power-up. Now, we're going to get this party started right now and meet our rioters. So game on. Iris, let's say hello to you first. Next slide, please. Iris, would you like to tell the group a little bit about yourself today?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Iris. I'm an engineering manager at Riot Games. I've been with Riot for 3 years. I started as a backend engineer. I then transferred into gameplay, and now I'm an engineering manager. A fun fact about me, I actually got into software engineering as my second career, and I used to be a high school teacher.
Excellent. I love a second career. So thank you so much for sharing that with us, Iris. It's really great to get to know you a little bit. Denise, let's go to you next. Next slide, please. What would you like our community and our attendees to know about you?
Yeah, so I've been at Riot for about 8 years now. Actually spent majority of my career at Riot, pretty much fresh out of college. I was started as QA, went into backend engineering, and currently I'm in gameplay. Super excited to be here. I've just really eager to show folks what I do and all that.
Heck yeah, awesome. I can't wait to hear about it. Thank you, Denise, for joining us today. All right, Tiffany, you are up next. What would you like our audience to know about you today?
Hi, I'm Tiffany. I'm a software engineer, and I've been at Riot for a year and a half, a little more than that. I work on the Riot client, and I'm really involved in fandom spaces. So I'm a cosplayer, and I go to conventions and stuff.
Heck yes. Who's the first person you ever cosplayed?
Mulan.
Oh, that's a good one. All right, excellent. Thank you, Tiffany, for sharing that with us. All right, now, last but not least, I'm very excited to introduce all of you to Brian Riley, who's the Global Head of Talent Acquisition, like we mentioned earlier. Brian, before you read us the Riot Act, could you please introduce yourself to our crowd today?
Good one. Yeah, of course. My name is Brian Riley. I've been at Riot for about a year. As Meg mentioned, I lead the Global Talent Acquisition organization here. I'm based actually in the Washington, D.C. area. So I do some commuting back and forth from D.C. to L.A. When our offices are open. And really, to put it in its simplest way, I oversee all of our hiring efforts on behalf of Riot. I'll talk a little bit in a few slides about sort of how much hiring we have done and how much hiring we're planning to do over the coming year. A quick fun fact for me as well. Recruiting in HR is sort of a second career for me as well. So I spent the majority of my high school and college career playing drums in an 80s hair metal cover band. But when that career didn't pan out, I decided it was time to find a new endeavor. And so that's how I landed in recruiting in HR. So that's a little bit about me. And I'd
love to see one of those show recordings. I would absolutely die.
There are some YouTube videos if you search the depths, but I'm not going to willingly share any of those links right now. So anyway.
Understood.
And with that, we can roll into the introductory slides.
Perfect.
We can go to the next one.
Next slide, please.
So as Meg mentioned, we're Riot Games. We're known for a number of titles, including League of Legends, VALORANT, Legends of Runeterra, Teamfight Tactics, and our mobile version of League of Legends, Wild Rift. So that's a little bit about some Riot and some of our core products. If we go to the next slide, so you'll see here we're just over. So this is a little dated actually. So we're just over 3,600 employees now, and that was sort of a tick up from over the course of 2021. We went from about 2,700 employees to 3,600 employees. This year we're planning to grow from 3,600 employees to about 4,800 employees. So significant growth plans over the course of the coming year, and got a lot of hiring to do. So we're glad everyone's here today to learn about us and potential opportunities with Riot. Go to the next slide. Our headquarters is in Los Angeles, but we have over 20 offices globally within the domestic US, offices in Redwood City, Again, Los Angeles, we just announced plans to open a new game studio in Seattle, which will open in 2 years. And for now, we're taking up temporary office space in Bellevue. And we also have a satellite office in St. Louis. The other big office studio announcement that we made last year is our plans to open essentially our second headquarters, which will be based in Shanghai, China. So that's another big office endeavor that we are pursuing. We can go to the next slide. And I thought here we could watch this video and do a quick tour of our LA campus. Roll the video.
Welcome to the virtual tour of the Riot Games Los Angeles campus, home of the small indie company known for games like League of Legends, music like KDA and Pentakill, and moments like these. I'm David Freak Turley, longtime Rioter, League of Legends esports caster, and pun enthusiast. I'll be your guide on today's tour. We'll take a look at the Rioters' natural habitat, including a bamboo forest and champion-themed meeting rooms. We'll even provide a location for you to send your balance requests by mail. Our campus spans across the Great Divide known as West Olympic Boulevard. On the north side are the majority of buildings, Q, W, E, R, T, and D, and to the south are F, G, and H. You may be wondering why our buildings are named after letters. Unfortunately, we used all of our creative budget on making music and TV shows, and so we didn't have anything left. Let's start where every Rioter's campus journey begins, in D Building. When you arrive for your first day, you'll be greeted by Annie, one of League's first champions, and her Ursine amigo Tibbers. From here, you can wander the different regions of Runeterra, from the frigid halls of the Freljord to the comfortable couches of Demacia. But if you're like me and you want to start your day with a healthy dose of caffeine, you can head over to Bilgewater for a fully subsidized, freshly brewed coffee or tea, and get stuck waiting in line behind the person who ordered 2 pour-overs with a 3D printed foam rendition of their French Bulldog. Want to skip the line? You can visit any of the fully stocked pantries around campus for a quick cup of coffee, snack, or an incredible selection of LaCroix? We have like 15 flavors. Head back to the pantry around 3 o'clock for the daily snack, but be quick because the S-tier treats go fast. When you want to break from your screen, you can head out to the quad for some fresh air, a walk around the track, or a quiet moment in one of the hidden courtyards. If you're lucky, you might see the Falconer and his hawks Melvin, Maya, and Mowgli securing the perimeter. Whenever you're feeling hungry for something more substantial than a pastry or snack, you can head over to Nom's, our fully subsidized cafeteria. The culinary staff prepare breakfast, lunch, and dinner with rotating menus. You'll have plenty to choose from, with a pizza station, salad bar, grill, hot entrees, and a test kitchen, which is definitely not run by Singe. But if you're the type of person who'd rather grind some games during lunch, you can always grab a sandwich or salad to go. We'd be lying if we said all we did at the office was drink coffee, eat food, and work. We also take plenty of breaks to have fun. Our PC Bong is modeled after the PC cafes where players in Korea, China, and all over Southeast Asia go to hang out. The computers are always on and come loaded with a huge selection of games, especially the Riot ones. Whether you want to 1v1 your manager in ARAM, hop on the battle bus, or hold the point in Hanamura, we've got you covered. Down the hall is the arcade, which is jam-packed with consoles and games, including old-school arcade cabinets. On the other side of Olympic Boulevard is F Building, which stands for Flash. That's where esports is located. The LCS Arena hosts weekly games where players from all over the US come to watch their favorite pro teams compete for the title of LCS champion. And they can do so with a fresh smoothie from our smoothie bar, which is also open throughout the day for anyone who's craving some fruit or an acai bowl. They've also got kombucha and paninis. F Building is also home to the sound stages where we shoot videos like Analyst Desk,
pull up that Team Comp graphic,
and developer videos like Lol Please and Season Start. While that's just a fraction of what our campus has to offer, it's all the time we have for today. There are still movie theaters, exercise rooms, and much more to see. But some surprises are best experienced in person.
right, so hopefully that gives everyone a little bit of a flavor of one of our many campuses. That's our headquarters, of course, in LA. And then we go to the next slide. Just to talk a little, I mentioned some of the primary games that we develop and produce here at Riot. Generally speaking, our games are developed to be games that you play over and over, aiming for mastery. But we've also got other endeavors, such as Riot Forge, which supports and empowers passionate players to tell their own stories and expand into the League universe. And we've got a significant portfolio of games that are in various stages of research and development as well. And so I think over the next several years, we've got some other exciting games we'll be bringing to the market. And I think one of the other things that we wanted to highlight really quickly was our recent endeavor into the entertainment industry with the Netflix series Arcane. And on our closing slide, we just thought we'd show, for those of you who haven't seen it, which I would highly encourage you to if you haven't, we have a sneak peek of the Arcane trailer on our next slide, and we'll roll that and then jump into the discussion. We can go to the next slide and do the video.
When I was a kid, me and my sister, we played a game where we pretended to chase monsters away. I'd say, no monster's gonna get you when I'm here. Then a real monster showed up. I have to find her.
The world's growing smaller every day. Up there on the surface, the topsiders are leaving the undercity further behind.
I believe I've discovered something incredible. A way to harness magic through science.
You don't understand what's at stake.
Power doesn't come to those who are born strongest. It comes to those who will do anything to achieve it. Imagining yourself a hero? Then what are you waiting for?
More lives may be lost. The Undercity cannot be controlled.
Then we have to go in by force.
What have you done with my sister?
I'll give her your regards.
This cycle of violence will never stop. She's too far gone.
I have to try.
You've got a good heart. Don't ever lose it. Protect the family.
Are we still sisters? Nothing is ever going to change that.
Awesome. With that, I'll send it back to Meg. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Brian. That was unreal. Now I know what I'm binging next weekend. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. It was a great introduction to Riot Games. I was watching the chat as people were watching those videos, and I mean, I can't agree strongly enough with everybody saying that like the art style is amazing. So thank you and congratulations for that. All right, now I'm really thrilled to lead our panel discussion. This will give us an even closer look at what makes Riot Games tick. So next slide. We've prepared some questions in advance for each Rioter. Our goal is to connect all the dots and show you what life at Riot Games is truly like. And so I'm really pumped to get into these questions. Iris, you are up first. Now, first off, big congratulations on your 3-year anniversary with Riot Games. That is absolutely amazing. So congrats on that. Now, during this short time, you have skyrocketed from an associate to an engineering manager. Can you tell us a little bit about how the rioters empowered you to succeed in that way? Ooh, Iris, you might be on mute.
I think there might be a connection issue.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Iris might have dropped.
Okay, no worries. We'll jump ahead to Denise, and then once Iris gets back, we will go back to her question. So Denise, can you tell us a little bit about the rioter identity groups? I'm really interested in how they celebrate that diversity and really help champion authenticity at the company.
Yeah, so I've been heavily involved in Riot identity groups, specifically the Latinx Latino rig. We call them Riot Unidos. So yeah, what Riot identity groups essentially are, they're just supportive communities based on shared identities and life experiences that build deep ties to create a sense of belonging. So these are things like, ethnicity, if you've had a child, military. Right now we have about 7. So we have Filipinos at Riot, Asian American Pacific Islanders rig, Rainbow Rioters, which is our LGBTQIA, RAD, which is Rad Genders, Noir, which is our Black rig, Unidos, and veterans at Riot. So we have a ton of rigs, and there's always opportunities to expand more rigs. So one of the ways they celebrate diversity and champion authenticity is through Heritage Months. Every year, the rigs work across the board to do things, events, sometimes month-long events, to celebrate our cultures and what makes us unique. We do things like sponsorships and donations. So recently, at least for Riot Unidos, we donated $5,000 to the Latinx in Gaming Group, which is a nonprofit that is increasing Latinx representation across the gaming industry. And then this month, for Black History Month, we've just last week, we had some really amazing speakers from different parts of the entertainment industry come in to just have a panel and just discuss like what they do. So like the 3 this year were Alton Glass, who's a co-founder of GRX Immersive Labs, which is an AR group, and which is based in virtual reality, company in virtual reality. He's done some amazing things. Definitely check him out. Jasmine James, also known as Cutie Pie Sensei. She's an amazing, internationally recognized cosplay artist. And Matthew Godoy, who is the CEO and founder of Black Sands Entertainment, doing amazing things out there and just highlighting what they do, and it's just so inspiring. So I'm super happy that Riot does highlight and fund these events to help raise awareness and to celebrate our differences and what makes us unique. I think we all grow better. We're growing, becoming a better company as a result.
No, I think that's lovely. It's really, it's critically important for companies to really invite team members to bring their authentic selves to work. Because otherwise, without that encouragement, there's a lot of people that might not really feel safe or might not feel secure doing that. So Riot Games sounds like they genuinely go that extra mile to support their rioters. So thank you, Denise, for sharing that with us. Mm-hmm. All right, Iris, we're gonna go back to you for your question. I know we talked a little bit about you having your 3-year anniversary. So we're so excited and excited to congratulate you on that. Now I know that in the 3 years you've been with the company, you have moved very quickly from associate to engineering manager. Can you tell us about how the rioters really empowered you to succeed in that way?
Yeah, sure. Again, sorry, I was having some technical difficulties there, but if I can sort of describe like the atmosphere in which I came into Riot, like I actually joined the company kind of right after the Kotaku articles first hit. And so I was having lots of doubts, even when I was interviewing. But I think the thing that drew me to the company was everyone was so willing to be open and talk about issues internal to the company, issues with the game industry in general. Like nobody shied away from actually wanting to talk about it. And that kind of open atmosphere of transparency, of vulnerability, of being able to say like, yeah, there is a problem here, but you can join and you can help us make it better. That was what was really empowering to me and what made me like kind of go the extra mile to try and like, prove that I can be a part of this industry and like make it better. And I've been blessed to have like really amazing managers just like go to bat for me and just advocate for me and say like, hey, I think these are your strengths and you should lean into them. And even when I told my first manager, I was like, look, I like where I am, but I kind of want to get into gameplay. Like he helped me, apply to a position that he thought I was qualified for. And since then, it's just kind of been like, I've just been really lucky to have wonderfully supportive teams and managers that like saw what I was good at and like wanted just, more of that from me. And so, yeah, I hope that answers that.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much for telling us that, because I feel like, it must be a really, really amazing to have a team that believes in you so fiercely and really wants to support you and help you grow. That's just awesome. Thank you, Iris. All right, let's go over to Tiffany now. So we're on slide 18, I think. Yeah, there we go. Tiffany, I know that Riot aims to delight its players, but how does this mentality show up internally? Is it all about, obviously, getting to delight the players is great, but how does that, kind of translate into what the rioters themselves experience?
Well, this kind of mentality is like throughout our whole work process and our development process. For example, as an engineer, all of our JIRA tickets are kind of written in the framework of, as a player, how would this thing help? Or what do players expect? And if something is wrong, like we try to fix it, because we always look at it from what's the best way for players to engage with our products? How do we make sure that they have a good time? Just as an example, a couple months ago, we put out an Arcane outro that brought the Riot client back and showed a little short clip of Arcane trying to say, hey, if you like playing League or TFT or whatever, you might also enjoy this TV show coming out. And we discovered through a lot of feedback on Reddit and Twitter, let's be real, that they didn't like the Riot client popping up again like 10 seconds after they closed League of Legends. And we actually went in and just took out that whole feature. Like it's fine if we have to change how we do things to make sure that our players have a good experience. And I think that's very core to what rioters are, and who we want to be.
I absolutely love that. Thank you, Tiffany. I know when you can kind of hear in your voice that this is something that y'all are very passionate about and loving what you do and feeling like that, like loving that purpose. Honestly, it's one of the greatest things about finding a job that you really care about. So thank you so much for sharing that with the group today. It definitely comes through when you're talking about it, kind of explaining it to the rest of us. So thank you. I'm also loving the chat right now. I don't know if anybody else is watching this, but people are asking like if you need to get to like Platinum Plus on League of Legends to work at Riot. And I'm absolutely loving all of the questions or all the, telling people, no, it's fine. Hannah's comment was great, saying that you definitely don't have to be, you don't have to be platinum level. I'm iron tier on a good day. So thank you, Hannah, for putting that in the chat with us. All right, now I do have one question for the entire panel. So we can do a one-by-one thing if you'd like. So next slide, please. Yeah, there we go. So what's the most fascinating technical problem that you've encountered at Riot Games and how did you solve it? Now, I know we only have a couple minutes before we go into our breakout sessions. So let's go rapid fire here and let's start with Tiffany. Tiffany, what's the most fascinating tech problem that you've encountered so far?
I guess the biggest piece that I had to deal with, or the most fascinating technical part, was like trying to figure out how to get social sign-on to work. That required working with basically an outside API, so that's Facebook and Google, going through the accounts team and the WebEx team, which is two extra other teams at Riot internally, and then bring that back and to pop up our own thing with app commands, basically. So it's just like having to weave that thread through so many different services was probably the most interesting technical problem I've worked on.
Oh yeah, for sure. I can imagine, trying to tie together all those teams can get very tangled after a little while. So awesome. Okay, Denise, you are next. What is the most fascinating tech issue that you've encountered?
Well, I've been here for a really long time. So the one that really stuck out to me was when we had to help, when I was on Player Platform, which is like our platform team, I was on like content delivery. So we were basically told, hey, we're trying to ship. League came to us, League of Legends team came to us and was like, we need to ship Teamfight Tactics on mobile. We need to do this like quickly. So we need a group of you to go and help this team to get that solved. And so what something that's commonly, we call it jungling. So if you play League, it's like it's a role in League where you just kind of go off and like wander around the map. But like you get to do that a lot at Riot, and you get to solve some really interesting technical problems. And for this one, it was like, well, we need to support mobile. We need to be able to support basically at least 3 versions of the game client, game server. We need to be able to like support patching and like matchmaking with this solution, but we need it to also be generic enough so that potentially game teams in the future could plug in, utilize this feature if they want to deploy like a mobile version of their game, or just strictly develop a mobile game. So like working with that team to solve and come up with a solution, we came up with like basically 3 services that some had to scale more than others. I got to learn a bunch of new technologies, specifically in the AWS like cloud spec of things. I learned about Bazel, which is like a kind of like Make, but a little bit different, but made by Google, and like using Terraform to deploy our infrastructure in a sustainable way. Like I had never done any of these things really before, so I really deepened my knowledge. And I think that's what I really enjoy about Riot is like there are a lot of different. I've gotten a chance to work on so many different things, and now I'm like working in gameplay, and I think all of these, just getting all these opportunities to like work on something different and exciting, and like even though the timelines are usually like a little bit hectic, it's like really exciting at the same time. This like for context, the solutions we came up with are still in use and are a crucial piece of like the patching and matchmaking systems for Teamfight Tactics. So yeah, that's one of the exciting ones for sure.
Very cool. Thank you, Denise. Iris, I don't want to skip you. What has been the most fascinating tech problem that you've encountered?
Oh man, gosh, it's so hard to pick one. Okay, so I'll do gameplay one. The one that I spent a lot of time on was trying to break like the system that causes like every character in League of Legends to fall at a certain like there's a gravity of force applied to them. So maybe you don't notice like height as much in League of Legends because like most of the time you're just kind of like walking on this like flat terrain. But when you get knocked up and stuff, like you go up and you come down, like everyone does it at like with the same gravity of force. And I just wanted to figure out like a way to break it because we wanted to have like this anime moment where Yone will come in and like ult you and you kind of like hang up in the air a little bit before you come down. So like just figuring out like ways to like break the physics system that like runs like movement in League of Legends.
That is so cool. I'm like, as you're describing it, I can picture it in my head in like a boss battle where you're like, and the moment just seems to hang. I love that. Thank you so much for telling us that. Thanks, Iris. Okay, so I have really enjoyed going beneath the surface with all of you today, and engaging not only on the day-to-day at Riot Games, but also bigger picture. And this sounds like such a creative and supportive hub for so many of you. So I just love to hear about that. Thank you so much. All right, now, if you want to learn even more about Riot Games, including their open roles, group culture, next slide, there we go, as well as their tremendous benefits, I really encourage you to visit their page on Power to Fly. You see the URL is there on the screen. You can also use the QR code if you like. That'll take you directly to Riot Games open roles. And you can also check out Riot Games on their socials. You'll be able to find them on Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn.